Let's talk about how to plan big music projects and reduce overwhelm when doing so by using something called mind mapping. I'm Keith from No Label, No Producer, No Limits.com. Let's dive right in. Overwhelm is trying to think of too many things at once. The solution, of course, is to not think of so many things. However, as a musician, you might have a lot of things on your plate at one time. You might have social media, planning a live tour, getting ready to go into the studio, but you can't hold all this information in your mind at once. What we need to do is capture the information about what we need to do in an organized format, a format that allows us to easily see where we are in the process, what's left to be done, and what we've finished. The process that I found best for this is called mind mapping. Mind mapping is a visual representation of information. It gives us the benefits of a list or an outline, some of the benefits of a map, and a checklist all rolled into one. Mind mapping can use words like a list, but can also include symbols and images, which pack much more information in densely. Mind mapping shows how one piece of information relates to other pieces of information in a hierarchical structure. This makes it easier to grasp, as this is the way the mind stores information. In front of you here, you see a mind map that I made for making this video. You can collapse the branches down and see just the big picture. What we see here is an intro, which I do for every video. I define overwhelm and talk about how to reduce it. And now I've just explained what a mind map is and a little bit about how it works. Next, we're going to go into the mind mapping process and then some demos and an outro. And you can see all of this at a glance in this mind map. So what is the mind map process? Well, it starts with what's probably not an old favorite for you, making a list. On a really big project, I might spend an hour or even two brainstorming all the tasks that need to be done in order for the project to be completed. Now at this stage, don't worry if you don't remember everything or you don't know everything. You can always add to this mind map as you discover more. Now, what level of detail should you go to when you do this? Well, the answer is the level to which you are comfortable. For instance, if your project is recording a record and you're going to overdub guitars, is that enough for you? Is that enough detail? Maybe it is. If you have a particularly complex guitar overdub session, you might go into more detail. You need to overdub the guitars on the verse, then double that part but with a different voicing, and then go to the chorus, and so on. So you go to whatever level that makes you feel like you grasp what that is about and you won't get lost. You can still maintain your focus. Now, once we have all the tasks written down, we want to categorize or group those tasks in some way. Usually, there's a logical structure in which to fit tasks. I'll link below to an article which talks more about how to categorize your tasks in a mind map. And then you simply create the map. We have a central idea. We have the main categories that branch out. And then we have the subtopics and even list of tasks, like here on my mind map section. I had a list of the subjects that I wanted to speak on. Now, this is Wise Mapping, which is the mind mapping software that I use. It's open source. It's free. Here's how to use the basic functions of Wise Mapping. I'm here at wisemapping.com. Let's create a new mind map. Click on New Map and title the map Create. When you first open up a new map, it will show you the central idea, and the orange border says that it's selected. If I click off it somewhere, it will be deselected. But I want it selected, so I click on it. And to create a main topic from that, what they call a main topic, I hit enter. Now, enter will always create a topic on the same level here. So this is selected. So if I hit enter a bunch more times, more main topics will come up. Now, this main topic is selected. If I want to create a subtopic, I hit tab. So enter and tab are your big keys. Again, this subtopic is selected. So if I want to create sibling topics to that, just enter. Now, if I want to change any of the titles of these, I just double click on the text and type. Click off it or hit enter, and there is the title. If you can't remember the shortcut keys, down here in the bottom right corner on my screen is this little keyboard icon, which opens up the shortcut key map. To collapse or open these branches, just click on the little circle. If I want to drag things around, I can select a subtopic or a topic by clicking on it and holding, and then dragging. I can drag that to the top. I could drag this main topic to be a subtopic of another subtopic. It's easy to move things around, and that's how to use wise mapping, the basic functions. The first step in our mind mapping process is to list all the tasks. So I decided to create a project about how to release an album, a CD, vinyl, whatever you call it. So I brainstormed a bit. Now, this is not comprehensive. This is just for a demo. You can see I've got create album artwork, decide on a manufacturer, if it's a CD or vinyl, write an email series about the release, build a sales page and a checkout page on my website, make live performance videos of the song so that I can promote on social media, upload songs to a distributor, get the ISRC codes for the songs. You can see it's just brainstorming. Lyric videos, break lyrics down for tweets, have a friend interview me about the songs, and make longer form YouTube videos. I need to register the songs with BMI, gather lyrics into text files and include credits, gather mastered audio files, and write liner notes for CD and vinyl. So as you can see, this is just a grab bag of brainstormed tasks that need to be completed in order to do an album. Let's think for a minute as to what kind of categories these tasks fit into. Write an email series about the release. Well, that's promotion, marketing. Break lyrics down into tweets and schedule tweets. Again, that's marketing. Register songs with BMI. Well, that's kind of an admin task. So I took these tasks and I broke them down into these categories. Marketing and promo. Assets, that's really gathering assets like images and audio files. Admin tasks, distribution of the music to various channels. Sales channels, in other words, how do I want to sell this on Facebook, my website, iTunes, etc. And manufacturing. So right now, these are the categories that I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to fit all of these tasks and any other tasks that I find into these categories. Okay, let's build that in Wise Mapping. I'm here at wisemapping.com. Click on New Map. I'm going to call mine Album Release. And that seems like a good description as well. Create. Now, this is selected. You see the orange border. Click Enter to create a main topic. Now, we've got 6 of these main topics, so I'm going to do this a few more times. Now, to name the topics, I believe we have marketing and promo. Just double click here on the text. Assets. Distribution. Manufacturing. What else do we have? We'll take a look back here. These are the categories. Sales channels and admin. We have sales channels and admin, so we'll do that. It's very simple, and if you make a mistake, just Control-Z, or on a Mac, Command-Z out of it, and you're fine. Now, I don't like this layout in particular, so I'm going to drag assets over here to the left side just by clicking and dragging. Admin can go over here as well, and let's put manufacturing over here. If I didn't like the order, and by the way, I misspelled distribution, so let's fix that. Double click. Okay, if I didn't like the order, I could click and drag up and just change the order. And I'm going to Control Z out of that. So now we have the central idea surrounded by the main topics or the categories. It's time to take these tasks that I listed and put them in the proper categories. Okay, let's go back to our list of tasks. And I'm going to take this build a sales page and checkout pages on my website. I'm going to cut it. And that goes into sales channels. So actually, so what I'm going to do is create a subtopic. So I've got sales channels selected, which I did by clicking on it. I hit tab. And my sales channel is going to be a website. I create that. And this is going to go under the website. So I select website, hit a tab, build a sales page and a checkout page on my website. That's a little wordy. I know it's on my website because it's in the website category. Okay, build a sales checkout page. Back to the list. Make live performance videos. That goes under marketing and promotion. Select marketing and promotion. Tab. Double click. Paste. What else we got here? Have a friend interview me about songs and make longer form YouTube videos. That goes under marketing and promotion. I'm going to cut that. Once again, select marketing and promo, tab, double click on the text and paste. And I think I will shorten this down to friend interview. Maybe friend interview YT for YouTube. Okay, so you can see this is how we add subtopics to the main topics. And by the way, you can collapse these down anytime just by clicking on the little circle. I'm going to add the rest of these tasks, and I'll be right back. Now, I've got everything in the categories that I want them, but I noticed a few things. For instance, I realized that I have more to do with the manufacturer. I need to create a DDP file, which is one format you can use to send to a manufacturer to make a CD. I need to upload the DDP and the artwork files to them. But before that, I realized I need to get the artwork specs. So I added those things. Now, it makes sense to me to order these from top to bottom in terms of what order they're going to need to be done. Obviously, I need to get the artwork specs before I upload the artwork. And I need to create the DDP file before I send them the DDP file and the artwork. So I've added that to manufacturing. Now I'm going to shrink this tab down a little bit. Now what I mean by assets is that I'm just going to have a folder on my computer that's named the name of the album, and it's going to have all the assets in it. It's going to have the audio files. It's going to have the lyrics with credits, liner notes, and the album artwork. I'm not actually going to create this myself. I'm going to have someone do it for me. But once they finish it, I want to put it in that folder. So that's good. In admin here, we only have two things: to get ISRC codes and to register with BMI. Marketing and promo has several things listed, but distribution only has one. And it occurs to me, my distributor, that's going to be DistroKid, but it could be any number of companies, is going to be one of my sales channels. They're going to allow streaming and sales on iTunes, for instance. So I'm going to put distribution into my sales channels. Just going to left click, drag down here. There we go. So now I have a website and I have my distributor as a sales channel. Where else am I going to sell? I might sell directly from Facebook. So select sales channels, hit tab, type in Facebook. As you can see, it's very flexible here. We can add things as we go. We can even get rid of a category. Now, in terms of categories, I think we're reasonably good here. We have 5. I like to keep it down to 5 or so. I'm thinking about this. Gathering my assets all into one file folder is simply an admin task, right? So I'm going to take this asset folder and drag it up here into admin. Maybe I need to open up admin here. Yeah, there we go. So now, under admin, I have assets, and I can expand on that if I want to. So now we have really 4 main categories here: marketing and promo, sales channels, admin, and manufacturing. And I have things to do listed under these. So just to review, you create a mind map. You make main topics or categories from your list of categories that you came up with earlier. And then you put all of the tasks that you came up with, and I've deleted them so that I can tell that I'm finished with them. And you put them in the proper category. You may come up with new ideas as you do this. You can add things as you go, and you can rearrange as you go. Let's talk about some mind map best practices. One is to keep your wording short. For instance, here in marketing and promo, I have a friend interview me about songs for long-form YouTube videos. Well, a mind map is designed to be understood at a glance. So I want something very short. Friend interview YouTube. Now, if I need more detail than this, I can either create more subtopics and create more details, or I can add a note. This is a note right here. I want to add a note to ISRC codes because I can't remember for the life of me how to do them. So I just select it and click over here to Note. I have extensive notes on this in Google Keep, so I'm going to add that note and click Accept. And now anytime I want more detail, I can just mouse over that to see. I can add anything here. I can add a link to a website with more information or whatever. So keep the names short, and you can add notes if you need more detail. I like to change the font color when I'm finished with a task. So let's say manufacturing here. Let's say I've downloaded the artwork specs. I select that, go over here to the font style, mouse over, select red, and now I can look at that, and at a glance I can see that that's done. If I finished all the tasks in this main topic or category, I will turn that red. So now, even with all the branches collapsed, I can see that I'm finished with the manufacturing section. I don't need to do anything on that anymore. As I mentioned earlier, the conscious mind can't hold too many pieces of information at once, so I like to keep the main topics or categories down to around, 6 or less. Sometimes you'll find something like marketing and promo might be too big of a subject to really lay out here all at once. It might require a separate mind map. One thing that you can do, and this helps me, and I like to do this once I get my categories settled, is I choose a different style. So I'm going to select marketing and promo and then change it into a rounded shape and make it a different color. Let's make that green. We'll make it money green. Marketing and promo, and I'm going to change that font color to white since it'll show up better. And we make each of these a different shape if we can. Make this one round, sales channels, and a different background color. Another thing that might help us here is an icon. Admin, I'm going to put a little computer there. So I'm going to open up this and type in computer. And there we have a little computer. And that might help me to visually differentiate it from the other. And we can, of course, do that with any of them. Okay, now that's mind mapping. Now, wise mapping saves as you go, but it might be a good idea to save. And if you like, I will provide you with a download for this mind map on my website. I have this mind map and several others that you can download, and maybe you can adapt it to your own projects. Let's go through some demos of how we might create a mind map. Now, there are lots of ways to organize information in a mind map. For instance, a rock band going into the studio might work in a completely different way than a solo artist going into the studio. So let's take a look at those two situations and see how they might be organized. Let's take a look at the Black in Back album. Now, this might be a typical rock band going into the studio. And what you do if you're a rock band going into the studio is that you usually record basic tracks first. The idea is that you get the drum tracks, and then you might go on to overdub bass, then guitars, then keys, then vocals, then you mix, and then you master. It happens sequentially. So it makes sense to develop a mind map that is also in that sequence. Basic tracks, guitars, keys, vocals, mix, and master. Then in each main topic, you would have the songs. Song 1, Song 2, and so on and so forth. So when I got done with basic tracks, you could see they're done because they're in red. Overdub guitar, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 songs done. I have 6 left to do. So we can see where we are at a glance. Naturally, I would name these the titles of the song rather than Song 5, but you get the idea. Now, a solo artist might work differently. Let's look at the Houses of the Holy album. This is the way that I recorded my last CD. Now, I used on this record a drum VST. I don't have the drums finished when I'm ready to start recording the song. So I start off with a scratch drum track, and then I might proceed in any order, usually 1 or 2 instruments, then sometimes a vocal, then sometimes guitars. So it could happen in any order. It doesn't make sense to categorize it by drums, bass, guitar, and so on. It makes more sense to categorize it by song. So I have the 10 songs that I'm going to do, and then the mastering phase. You can see that Song 5 and Song 6 are finished. Let's open up Song 3 again. And we've got the guitars in the chorus done, but not the guitars in the verse. So it makes sense to categorize it by song and then put the instruments I'm going to record under the song as subtopics. So that might be a better way to categorize a solo recording. Now, if you found this video useful at all, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, share, comment. And if you're on social media, if you look in the description or in the first comment, there will be a link to a web page which will have more information on this subject, including links to the resources we used. And you can even download these mind maps and play around with them yourself. Until next time, I'm Keith from No Label, No Producer, No Limits.com. See you soon.